All right. Welcome everyone. This is our conversation about honoring the arc of childhood. I'm John Body. I'm lucky enough to be the head of school here at Browning. I'm here with my friend and colleague, head of lower school, Eric Ogden. And one of the fun things, Eric and I get to have a conversation on Zoom once a week from September to the end of January as we try and invite prospective families to see what's so fantastic about Browning in general and Browning's lower school in particular. So this is kind of a reinitiation, kind of back in the saddle, Eric. I'm really happy to see you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, John. Hi, everyone. In case I don't know you, my name is Eric Ogden, and I'm the lower school head finishing up my fifth year here at Browning. And yes, this is, as John said, we do this a lot for perspective, especially kindergarten families. So it'll be fun to kind of rehash some of what we love about Browning together. I always say that we tend to talk a lot when we get excited about Browning, so we'll try to keep our answers on the digestible side for you.
Yeah, no promises, but that's a good thing. But just like how are you doing, man? Like how's the year been for your division? And we're all looking forward to the summer, but what's kind of got you enthused for the next couple weeks before we close the doors for the year?
Yeah, it's been a great year. I got an email the other day from a colleague at another school who said, "Hope you're surviving the 100 days of May." And I said, "May is just flying. I cannot believe it's almost Memorial Day weekend." It's been great. Spring is fun. Spring is fun at school. We just had our poetry contest and our public speaking program in third and fourth grade, and field day a few weeks ago. And still in these last few weeks, we got a couple celebrations of learning, a couple field trips coming, and then lower school closing is one of my favorite days of the year because it's just everybody together. Asha puts together such wonderful music. The fourth graders do some storytelling. So yeah, couple more weeks of fun things to look forward to.
Right on. Well, like what's the line? We're going to end with a bang, not a whimper, right? It's going to
Exactly.
be really good. Well, just it's funny you mentioned in opening that you've been here for 5 years, which I don't know if that feels like a lot or a little. We have great colleagues here. I can almost
Yeah.
scarcely remember a time that you weren't here.
Yeah.
But we're going to spend some time talking about the future of the lower school and some of the changes and innovations that we think are exciting about it. But I'm wondering if we might take a second to kind of reflect on really some of the significant work you've done and some of the change that you've brought to the program, kind of building on the foundation that you found over the past half decade that you've been with us.
Yeah, I mean, you might remember I started in that year that was right post-COVID year, and just
Yeah.
redesigning everything and getting to know people in that really kind of just unique and a little bit awkward environment. And the kids who are in fourth grade now, who are at the moment our current oldest lower schoolers, were the kindergartners then. So I feel like over these 5 years, that's the group I've grown with all this time, and it's so fun because my office is next to the fourth grades here, just to see them flourish and to remember, what they were like when they were 5 and 6 and see them now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a great 5 years. We've done a lot, not only getting through COVID, which was a big one, but really just continually trying to build the lower school program. We've added things to the curriculum. We have a full-time health teacher now that we didn't have, when I first arrived here. So every single grade level in the lower school is getting a real health education course for a semester each year. We expanded our languages program, and we start in first grade now. We used to start in third grade, exposing kids to modern languages and Spanish and French. We've expanded our chess program, which is one of the highlights for the boys, for sure,
Yeah.
and it's been so popular. We've moved the in-school classes up to third grade. We have bigger chess teams going to tournaments than we've ever had before. And from this, we're lucky. We've been able to expand the staff. I said as we added a health teacher, when now next year we'll have a counselor dedicated to each division. We've increased our learning support with a math specialist now focused just on the lower school, and more literacy specialists focusing and learning specialists focusing on the older elementary grades. So, I just feel fortunate that we're in a place where we can find these things that we need to do. Under Danielle's leadership, I think our teaching and learning practices have become so much more coherent. K to 12,
Yep.
all the classrooms now, teaching to learning targets, really working on feedback. We've done a lot with rubrics this year. We're just a great way, especially as kids get to second, third, fourth grade, to give them feedback in a way that they can use to then go back and revise and learn. Just telling kids something once doesn't mean they've learned it, but having them practice it. So I think the culture of that, and then ending with celebrations of learning. Each grade has, 3 times a year or so, a celebration of learning, invite in families and just show them what they've been working on, what they've learned. And the kids are so proud of that.
Yeah.
We know, especially for boys, an authentic audience is something that helps them to thrive.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's been a lot. We've built our co-curriculars. We have a lower school chorus we didn't used to have. The chess team has grown. We have math clubs in third and fourth grade. There's always something new that we can come up with to add in to enhance the program.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I need a nap after
Yeah.
after the litany of no, but it's impressive stuff because when you arrived, I mean, look, obviously I was proud of what our lower school did and the way in which you've amplified so many of the best parts of our program and that you found a way to consistently bring innovation and reform in a way that centers the boys' experience. It's been really creative, it's been really coherent, and I think we're just it's just moving from strength to strength, and I'm really really grateful for that. And as we think about it's one of the most significant changes that's coming for next year for 25 26 is that we're adding grade 5 into the local school, right? And I think that's it's a more than a concrete change. That's a significant, almost like boulder-sized change in some respect. But it's really exciting, and I think there's opportunity in that. I was wondering if you might tell our friends here just a little bit about like why we're making this shift, and what goods we think will come from that, and what the program will ultimately look like.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate your kindness. Yeah, I am really excited for grade 5 to come down to the lower school, although I don't think it's a downgrade at all. In part because I'm getting to stay with these guys for one more year. That's exciting for me. But really, what we did was we did a lot of research in making this decision. And as we're growing the size of our middle and upper schools with the new building, just trying to see what was the best structure for our school as we're converting this to a K-8 space, and having the new building a couple blocks away. And what the research showed was if you look across the United States, even across New York City, divisions are broken up in different ways all over the place. Primaries, pre-primaries, middle schools, junior high schools, and there really wasn't any research that said these are the best ages to break your divisions or to change things. And instead, what all the research showed, was if you have a thoughtful program, you should decide where to make your divisional breaks based on what fits best in serving the needs of the kids in the program structure you have. And the more we looked at it, fifth grade's kind of always been a unique year here, at least since I've been at Browning. It's in the middle school, but it's kind of runs like a lower school. They still have a homeroom teacher. There's only 2 sections, whereas there's 3 sections in grade 6, 7, and 8. And the more we looked at it, we just felt like we could fit fifth grade into the lower school program in a way that could really like help those boys thrive. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, and I appreciate you focusing on just how much this was driven by research, right, and not caprice, right? This is something, it's a significant change, and so we're going to approach it with the seriousness that it requires. But I think we think there's real opportunity, right, for what this will do for the grade 5 experience for boys. Do
Yeah.
you feel the same?
Yeah, absolutely. And the fifth grade curricular academic program is essentially not staying. It's always been a strong program. We have really
Yeah.
strong teachers. Those take the same courses that they take now, the same amount of science and language. So we're holding on to that really strong program that's been there. We do think an extra year dedicated in a homeroom with one teacher who's kind of their go-to person, even though like a middle school classroom, they'll have one teacher for language and one for science, helps us with what we've been calling lately at Browning studentship, which is something we've been focusing on with learning systems school-wide the last few years. Like
Mhm.
just another year to practice those research skills, those organizational skills, how to fill out your planner, how to get your materials to the right place, right? Still kind of within a little bit of a nest of a homeroom and a teacher that's kind of your primary person to guide you there. Um, I think it gives us opportunities then to build the curriculum will stay mostly the same, but to really keep building on this co-curricular program that we've introduced in the last 2 years for grades 3 and 4 and make it for grades 3, 4, and 5. So, we introduced a lower school chorus. COVID took a real hit on music programs because for almost 2 years, kids couldn't really sing together, play instruments together, right? And I'm so excited and proud that we have about 35% of our third and fourth graders now electing to join chorus, and that's going to continue to grow each year. So we'll have a really robust grades 3 to 5 chorus. We'll be able to offer chess as a kind of co-curricular club within the school day because, as I said, we keep pushing that up and up because it's so popular.
Yeah.
Our math specialist will offer a math club, like a math team type thing for kids who just want to do some extra problem solving. Would like to build in some kind of leadership program, not maybe exactly a student council, but like a leadership club that kids can opt into to do,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
ways to serve the school, mentor younger kids, help lead assemblies, plan some special events, really build leadership opportunities for the grade 5 boys. We'll continue our buddies program. K4 buddies has been
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
of the first things I learned when I got here was kindergarten, fourth grade buddies was one of the most popular things. So we're going to just make that a 2-year program. So the fourth graders will still have kindergarten buddies, and then they'll stay together in first and fifth grade, and just more opportunities for that kind of growth, that mentorship, going both ways. And Probably most popular with the boys is that fifth grade will have PE every day, as all the lower
Ah,
classes do, which is an addition. The middle school they've had it 2 or 3 times a week in different years. Now they're going to get daily PE, which is pretty exciting.
that is wow. I mean, there's so much there. I mean, I love the part that more than a third of our boys, 3 through 4 now, are involved in chorus, which is such a great reclamation, and it's a credit to you and Asha Lindsay for
Yeah.
all the vision around there. And you're so right about the buddy program. My eighth grade son's buddy is graduating this year, right? And he is. I don't know if he's as devastated as that boy's parents are that he's moving away. And so the idea of getting 2 years of that, I think is just that's a wonderful thing in terms of the continuity of care. And then lastly, I mean, one of the great things about lower schools, it's always protected schedule wise, the importance of physical education every day.
Yeah.
And that we're able to extend that to fifth grade is super. Is that going to have any sort of knock-on consequences for athletics, right? For what older boys in the division might experience there?
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited about that. And one of the things that changes a little for fifth grade being in lower school is the athletic program. And so I've been working with the athletic slash PE team, and we're redeveloping the whole fourth and fifth grade PE program and actually making it kind of a pre-athletic intramural program. Fourth grade has always used a model known as sports ed, where they study different sports as they go. They practice skills, then they do some gameplay, but we're going to kind of formalize that. So what we're doing is scheduling grade 4 and 5 PE back to back so that on
Mhm.
certain days they can have double periods where all the fourth and fifth graders are together, and a couple times a month use that as an intramural kind of uh, tournament play, so that kids will be on an actual team. They'll have a coach assigned to their team, and they can really get a sense of what it's like to be on an athletic team beyond just what happens regularly in the PE classroom. We got permits to do soccer in the park in the fall. We'll do it with
Oh, really?
basketball. Yeah, oh yeah, we
That's
got
a coup.
ready.
Yeah.
And we'll do basketball here in the gyms in the winter. Hopefully, even get over to the new gym every once in a while when we can sneak in over there, because it's gorgeous. And we'll do baseball again in the spring in the park. The middle school fifth grade baseball has always been intramural.
Mhm.
And most of our peer schools start their athletics in sixth grade. So fifth graders who have participated in athletics in middle school, it's been limited. There's not that many spots, and a lot of the kids play in intramural. So this way we have all the boys experiencing that. And we really hope and think that then when they get to sixth, seventh, eighth grade and beyond and want to join the interscholastic teams, the kids will really have a better sense of what it's like to be on a team and play with strategy and have one coach guiding you all the way through.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate you walking us through that because I think it emphasizes just how much thought has gone into this in terms of giving
Yeah.
it foundational emphasis and frankly keeping more boys engaged in athletics longer,
Mhm.
to give them the proper platform for further participation. Thank you. Thanks for talking through. And you mentioned it's when you mentioned the new building, which we're really excited about, but it also with the new building, it's gonna create some opportunity here, right? As you mentioned earlier, to re-describe East 62nd as kind of a fully K through 8 space.
Yeah.
And we're definitely looking to kind of refine some of that space, redesign some of that space in conjunction with the lower and middle school, but here the lower school programs. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about some of the changes that you're planning, you and your colleagues are planning for the lower school, and maybe start with how the physical space might be transformed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as much as we all love Browning and love this building, I don't think anybody would deny we are crowded this year. So just de-densifying the space is just
Mhm.
it provides a lot of opportunities to recreate some of the spaces and also just to kind of recreate how we use the space in ways that should better support the educational program. So, for example, just kind of shifting classrooms, right? So the first grades are going to move down to the same floor as the kindergarten, which makes a lot of sense for K and one to be together, right? And it's kind of a
Mhm.
more primary, early lower school kind of little wing of the building. So they'll be together. They'll be able to just kind of share across K1, get to know each other better. That also happens to be where our counseling office is. So just kind of creating that environment. Doing the same thing on the third floor for fourth and fifth grade, putting the two fourth grades and two fifth grades across from each other again, because they'll start to share kind of similar structures. It will let the teachers kind of have a continuity between fourth and fifth grade. So even little things like that. But then just looking how we use the space, right? Counseling and learning specialists will now each have their own space to work in. A lot of them have been sharing spaces,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
just gives them more room to really get boys in and really get them focused. The library is a key spot. The library has the two levels. The lower part of the library has, since I've been here, really been a spot used mostly by upper school boys appropriately. That's where they study. That's where they catch up on group work. The books down there for upper schoolers. So with those books going out and those upper schoolers going out, we're just taking that space over for lower school. So removing the bookshelves in the middle, and then bringing all the lower school collection down there, which will be nice to have all the lower school collection in one place rather than split over two floors. Much easier for when the kids are browsing with the librarians. And just a nice big renovated teaching space for the lower school library classes, bringing in new seating and new furniture, and just have a whole wide space there. And what's nice is it actually will be big enough that when there's not a library class, a whole grade level of kids could go down there. So the second grade has a guest speaker in, and they want to have both second grade classes together.
Yeah.
They can use
Yeah.
that space to do
Right.
something as a grade level, which we really only have the Wilson room and the gym for that right now. So this kind of gives us additional spaces for a little bit larger groups. What other spaces? The science labs and the technology labs are all getting new furniture and new equipment in some places that is just more appropriate to the size and age and curriculum of those kids. So, there'll be a larger lab space for grades kindergarten to third grade science than they're in now. Appropriate furniture for them in the tech lab. Again, getting tables and chairs that kind of better fit the lower middle school set. Some of the big, heavy robotics equipment that will go over to the new building frees up space for us to put kind of more accessible materials for design projects, and because it's computer science and engineering. So when they're doing hands-on and design, the kids will be able to access that better, adding in some soft seating and like a collaborative whiteboard wall where the kids can work together on projects,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
really taking these spaces and saying, okay, now that we have more space in them and some of the equipment is going to the upper school that the older kids use, like how can we better define these spaces?
Yeah.
Did I miss any? Oh, the curiosity zone. But what I'm probably most excited about,
Yeah. What is
curiosity zone. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'd love to just, I want to remark just the if I could emphasize this point of de-densification, right, which might not be the most glamorous thing.
Yeah.
And we love our upper school boys, but just the idea of having, 150 of our largest children not here in this space and what that'll enable in terms of flexibility and intentionality is
Yeah.
really pretty exciting. And this curiosity zone, I think, is almost the apotheosis of that kind of intentionality. I mean, can you tell us something about that? Like that's
Yeah,
not
for
something we
sure.
haven't had.
Yeah, there was a few extra spaces that we could kind of steal and say, what could we do with this space? So actually one of the art rooms is being converted into what we've named the Curiosity Zone after one of our four values there. And this is a new addition. And basically it's going to be a space really primarily for lower school kids, and even in more particular for kind of the K-2 set, to be creative. So they'll have their science and art classes in there, but the materials, the furniture, it's all going to be designed for kind of creativity for those younger kids. And then when there's not classes inside there, again, teachers will be able to sign up and go in there and do things that they just need more room for, like uh, put out big easels for a painting project, or pull out the sand tables and the sink and float tables for play centers, or for a science project. We got these great little four top tables that are whiteboard tables, so that the kids can actually write on them while they're working and thinking and
Oh
designing.
wow.
And then you just wipe it right off when they leave there. So we're really excited about this space that will just feel very much like a creative spark, we're hoping, and curiosity zone, as we say, for the younger kids. And along with that, we've added a position of a K-2 art specialist who will teach art and music to the K-2 boys, and also be able to support with adding in more performance opportunities, adding in more creative art projects. So it's really exciting that we have a teacher that's going to be just dedicated to that. Kind of along the same vein as I said, with COVID really taking a hit on the music program, like really focusing on building up our arts program is just really exciting for me, and I think it's going to be just a huge benefit to the boys.
Yeah, no, look, I'm pumped to hear it. I mean, it's easy to sort of like rhetorically gesture at the idea that we educate the whole boy,
Mm.
and to put some substance behind it, I think is really thoughtful, and it takes a commitment, and I'm grateful for your leadership on that front. I'm also really keen to see what the boys do. And did I hear you right? They're going to have desks that they can draw on, in
Yeah,
essence. Yeah.
yeah,
See if it
yeah.
stays in the curiosity zone, Eric. That's my
Curiosity zone, exactly, exactly. Which will be fine there. Then we'll just have to remind them when they
yeah.
get
That's what I'm
their
wondering, right?
regular desk, they can't draw on that one.
Yeah,
But
is that a portable disposition?
yeah, for sure.
So it's interesting. Like I think you really helped me kind of like talk about and think through just how physical space can enable programmatic enhancement.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if maybe you might just build upon that a little bit more. Just like what are there any other kind of programmatic changes that you're thinking on, or you and your colleagues are planning for, given this is going to be a fully K-8 space?
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to schedule. Well, when you're we talk about this a lot. When you're trying to decide what's best, what you want to innovate, what you want to add, right? You think of program first, and what's the best ideas, the best things we think will help enhance the boys' learning and experience. And then once you decide what you want for program, there's the three kind of S words that hold it in. It's the staffing, it's the schedule, and it's the space, right? And those are the logistical constraints you have to make it work in. And by having more space, that frees up the schedule in a lot of ways. And again, it's probably not the most glamorous of things, but just the idea that shared spaces, so the Wilson room, the tech lab, the science labs, the art rooms, that are shared between divisions, those aren't going to be as packed during the
Yep.
day schedule wise, which then lets me and my team build a schedule that actually can work better for boys, right? Fewer transitions during the day, making sure that the specials are spread out throughout the week, so that there's longer learning blocks within the classroom for reading blocks or math blocks, right? And so it's not the most glamorous way of thinking about it, but it does make a real difference over time when you're not losing extra 10 minutes a day to transitions. That adds up. That's almost an hour a week. So things like that, continuing the focus on the target focused teaching and those studentship ideas I was talking about, really honing those in, particularly with third, fourth, and fifth graders. We've standardized their planners. School-wide, we've been really committing to cutting back on screen time, and I think we're looking to really do that even further next year. And in the lower school, we really have cut our screen time back. When I came during COVID, we needed a lot of screens. So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
compare to then, we've cut it back really drastically. And building out this extracurricular, not extracurricular, co-curricular clubs, right? So where within the day can the kids experience extra arts? Where can they join the green team? Where can they join a leadership club or play some extra chess or get involved with letting them choose kind of based on interest some of the club activities that are beyond the regular curriculum but built into the day. And there's really great room to overlap those with middle school, which has a robust program of clubs as well, right? So, we were just talking today about the instrumental ensembles, right? We still want to make sure those are accessible to fourth and fifth graders. So there'll be overlap with some of those clubs as well, which is also a great kind of exposure to what comes next for fourth and fifth graders. So it's as the schedule and the space has freed up a bit, it's giving us more opportunity to innovate and build on some of these programs.
Well, it's super cool to, I mean, to hear that there's the spatial dimension actually allows the sort of programmatic enhancement of just
Yeah.
finding enough room in the schedule for both the kind of strictly academic and the co-curricular. Because I think so often we sort of fight for time during the day, and the idea that you have to choose one or the other, when all we know about research and about boys' development is that these things actually, are mutually supporting, right?
Mhm.
That a boy is allowed to engage with the whole of his life is going to perform better academically. So just, kudos to you for finding the creativity and just the bit, you're right. It's not the most glamorous thing, but reducing transitions,
Yeah,
is just, I mean,
huge difference.
yeah, I mean, even like when we think of ourselves as adults, right? If we have to transition between tasks, like we have to, to be kind of reset and refine ourselves. And to ask that of a 4, 5, 6, 7, not a 4-year-old, 5, 6, 7-year-old boy multiple times a day, that's a trick. And so
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be one of the hidden gems that emerges from this.
I mean, for sure. And for faculty too, one of the things I forgot to mention is we're going to have a dedicated language room for our lower
Mm,
school. And I was just meeting with
yeah,
Maria Gonzalez Gil, our amazing lower school
yeah,
language teacher. She, for the last 3 years, has taught in 6 rooms a day. So she's
yeah.
constantly moving from space, moving her materials, da, da, da. So she's going to have her own room. And yes, that's nice for her, but it will also make her teaching and therefore the learning better because she's not going to be losing all that time moving from place to place, having to reset up her computer in each new classroom, So, yeah, again, not the
No.
most glamorous, but it actually will have an impact over time on the teaching and learning.
Well, I'm sure Ms. Gonzalez Gil is excited not to be a
She's
vagabond.
quite excited. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And look, I think there's ample reason for lots of us to be excited about what's to come. Whether you're a boy, whether you're a faculty member, whether you're administrator. I'm curious as we kind of get ready to wrap this up, Eric. I mean, you shared so much, but is there anything that's personally to you kind of most exciting about what's to come? Anything you've alighted upon? It's like, wow, more than anything, that kind of gets me going.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about a bunch of things. I mean, moving the fifth grade down is really, I think, an exciting opportunity, and I think in the long run, it's going to make the boys stronger students when they move into middle school and be prepared for that. I'm excited about that, and with that, I'm really excited about this new intramural program that we've been building, and then probably the curiosity zone. That's just kind of for me, just making sure that we have a spot that like leads to art, leads to scientific inquiry. When you dedicate a space to that, it shows kids that you feel like that's important and it gives them freedom to explore there. And I do think over time that is gonna carry all the way through too and continue to build out our art and science programs.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. It's there's so much on the menu. It's kind of hard to choose your favorite, right? But
Yeah, and it's a little head spinning getting it all together, but we've been chipping away at it and we're gonna be ready.
well, it's a great problem to have, and it's a fantastic example of leadership and collegiality from you and your teammates in the lower school. So just thanks so much for your time and for just
Yeah,
helping us all understand the arc of childhood and how we're trying to honor it a little bit better.
yeah, my pleasure. It was good to do. We haven't done this since January, so it was good to get the rust off the
Yeah, I'm
wheels and
about to say,
out
yeah,
the
stretch your
gym.
legs and see if we can do it again, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome,
absolutely.
awesome. Well, Eric, thank you so much. Thanks to all our friends who took the time to tune in. Wish you all a fantastic summer, and thanks for all your care and consideration that you give to Browning. It means the world. All right, take good care, everybody.
Be well.